Hello and welcome to the NHL Best Bets. Yesterday we got one team that went to second round, and then we got other team that went to second round from two different divisions. But first we'll go through the picks that we had. Here you can see that Edmonton had an epic meltdown in Winnipeg. They were leading 4-1. Only 10 minutes to go in third period, and then managed to give up 3 goals. And in overtime, Winnipeg took a 5-4 victory and took almost insurmountable 3-0 lead. But in Washington, Boston was stronger. Washington couldn't improve their performance from the previous game, and Boston won 3-1. Was the first team to go to second round in the playoffs by victories 4-1. We got some green here. Tommy, how do you saw these games?
Yeah, one was a good pick, one wasn't that good pick, but I'm not sure which one was the winning one. So, first of all, Capitals, of course, a massive disappointment throughout the playoffs. Never got their game really going. They had a lot of issues with COVID, with injuries, with all of these things outside of the ice, maybe as well. So, probably not the best situation to go to the playoffs. But against Boston Bruins, they should have played better. Couldn't. So it's deservedly out from this playoff race and probably gone fishing or golfing. I don't know what they fancy doing. Boston Bruins showed that now they have a little bit better depth maybe in the offense. Not only the first line guys are creating chances, forming offensively. Of course, in the last game, it was the first liners who did decide this game. But along the series, we saw that there is a lot of depth in the offense as well. Boston's defense also playing like a playoff team should, unlike Capitals for the most part. So clear win for Boston. We were in the wrong in this pair. Let's see how Boston Bruins will do in the simulations going forward. That's something we need to rerun. And then the epic meltdown of Edmonton Oilers, probably the only team in the world capable of these sort of things. Like you mentioned, 50 minutes play, 1-4. No worry in the world. They played really well for the first two periods, outshot Winnipeg, created a lot more chances, managed to score, played extremely well in defense, and then something happened in the third one. Of course, there was also Winnipeg Jets, so hats off to these guys. They never gave up. They kept going, but still it was a horrible loss for the Oilers. A very good thing for us, but I think this was maybe a little bit of a lucky pick from us. But considering that Capitals was massive letdown, Winnipeg Jets have now delivered again. Like through the season, we've been rooting for this team that they are a lot better than the odds makers have counted them, and now they've proven it once again. So a great win for them, 3-0 series. But I think there is a little bit more to come.
Yeah, there's nothing more to come for St. Louis Blues, because they are gone fishing after Colorado played as they have been playing recently. They took a 5-2 victory, pretty much as predicted. They won 4-0 and looked like every piece to be Stanley Cup champion this year.
Yeah, especially in the last game. Now we saw St. Louis trying to first playing the St. Louis Blues style. They went ahead, they led the game until the half point, but then Colorado just added a little bit more coal into the furnace, and that's it. And Colorado took an impressive 2-5 victory there. So no question at any point which team was the better one, and Colorado I think is only getting warmed up. So there is still a lot of room for improvement, especially in the bottom six of this team are capable of creating more chances than they have now. So the top guys are performing on their level, but maybe there is more to come from the lower lines when the going gets tough in the next round.
Yeah, one other game that was very, very interesting, and earlier we predicted that Carolina is similar team as Colorado. They have a high octane offense and they can score whenever they want. That's not happening now. And Nashville took second victory now in second overtime, tying this series 2-2. And it looks like these Nashville Predators, especially the offense that have been surfing throughout the regular season, or especially the beginning of the regular season, have now found their stride. And even though they play very high minutes, basically two lines are only playing in overtimes. They have been able to score now in two back-to-back games in second overtime. So that shows that these guys have endurance, at least in level that is required when you are playing multiple back-to-back overtime games in NHL playoffs.
Yeah, I think they've been saving their energy for throughout the season, so they only started playing in March. But this shows also the Nashville Predators, the way they're playing. They're usually playing with four lines, quite even minutes, not a lot of players of this star caliber who would play half an hour a game or so. Unlike in Carolina, you have the top guys, you have the top defenders. Now they have some injuries. If their first line is shut down, they're not that good overall. So maybe there is a little bit of a thing that Predators can take from this and try to challenge them even further. But I do still see that Carolina is a lot better team. But if Juuse Saros keeps playing as he did now, he stopped 58 shots on a night. Thankfully, he's a young guy. He probably can take the beating night after night, but it's a tough thing for a goaltender to face 60 shots a game, especially twice in a row. So let's see how the next game goes. But we did predict a little bit less scoring game from this one, because the previous one was quite easily an over, but this was an over as well. Let's see if these teams turn out to be more of a scoring teams than we expected early on, especially Predators trying to shut down Carolina. But since they haven't been able to do that, they just have to score one more, and this is how it looks like.
Yeah, I think Saros was the second goalie in NHL history who had over 50 saves in back-to-back games in NHL playoffs. Curtis Joseph had something like 30 years ago, but now he made these back-to-back games with quite a few saves. Then let's go to the 5 games of tonight. We have picked 2 of those. Here you see our selections. Edmonton and Winnipeg have back-to-back game. It's do or die for Edmonton, and they have maybe something between their teeth after yesterday's performance, especially in last 10 minutes. So Edmonton is favorite by the bookmakers, but still provides very good value for bettors based on our simulations. So Edmonton is not ready to go to home, but maybe they delay that 1 or 2 games. And then series that is tied right now, Islanders Penguins. Home team has 130 minus odds. Pretty good value still because of higher probability from the simulations, and this is important especially for the Pittsburgh, because if they lose now they face elimination on the road, and Islanders have been pretty good team playing at home.
Yeah, let's go first to this Winnipeg Jets Edmonton Oilers, because this is probably the first time we would play against Winnipeg Jets in situation like this. But they got 3-0 lead, maybe a little bit easy. Not saying there are easy games in NHL, but Jets are not supposed to lead this series yet this far. So I do think that they might be letting it down a little bit after these performances. Great performances overall. Edmonton Oilers, of course, a lot better team than what we've seen, especially last night's horrible ending. I do think that they have now a chip on their shoulder. They have to show everyone that they are not this lousy team that we've seen. So they will go all in, nothing to lose for this team. If they go out 4-0, so be it. But I do think that they will take at least that one victory here and take it back to their home ice. In the simulations, we have Edmonton for 57%, and like we saw the odds around 51 or 52%. So nice value for the road favorites here. Not massive odds, but still Edmonton Oilers should be a little bit better team, especially offensively, than Winnipeg Jets. So let's expect some results from these two guys, especially Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid. Now it's time for you to show something, because this has been so far a very massive letdown of a playoff run from that team. And then the other pairing in the East, Pittsburgh Penguins, New York Islanders. We did expect a very close matchup between these two teams. Both teams better at home than on the road. Penguins, best team in the NHL for the regular season at home. So they do have to win this game when they have the chance now in Pittsburgh, rather than going to New York back where they lost the last game. Pretty clearly, Islanders played their own game. Now they have to go to Pittsburgh to try and win it. I think that Penguins, a lot better team in many aspects, especially offensively. If they are playing their best hockey, they will win this game. Minus 130, not the best odds for our liking, but still value, because in simulations it's 65%. So clear value for the home favorites, and it is, dare I say it, a must-win for the Pittsburgh Penguins, because going 3-2 down to New York for visit Islanders, Barry Trotz, all these boogeymen, not a good situation for Penguins, so they must win this game at home.
Yeah, this fifth game is quite crucial because that's like a 80-20 swing pretty much. So if you win fifth game at home, like Pittsburgh could do now, you have 80.5% chance to win the whole series. But if you lose it at home, you have only 24% chance to win it. So that's something to keep in mind, that of course every game is important, but this is quite big swing in probabilities based on historical numbers.
Yeah, especially when this series has been back and forth, so you have the every other game going to every other team, so that's something to keep in mind, and this is very much what we expected to happen, especially after Islanders managed to take the first game. So it evened up everything, and it is a very even pair. Not gonna say that it would be an easy game for Penguins, but it is something that they do have to mentally prepare to win and do everything they can, because the next game would be next to impossible for them.
There are two games or two series that are 3-1 currently. Vegas has home arena advantage in T-Mobile Arena against Minnesota. They are leading 3-1, and we are expecting them to win here. Not too much value for home team, but higher probability to win this game and clinch the series. And then Tampa goes to Florida. They are also favorite on the road to clinch the series and take 4-1 victory, but there's no value for this team, so that's why we selected Edmonton and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, pretty much of a coin flip game there in Florida. We are expecting Panthers to do a bit better than they have, but Tampa Bay has shown that in these situations where they are playing their best hockey, they are impossible to beat. So in simulations, we have 53% for Lightning, while the odds indicate around 52%. So barely any value there. It is a risky pick, so that's why we're steering away from that. And also in Vegas, we do have it closer than the odds indicate, but like we've seen, Vegas is a little bit underrated by the simulations for reasons unknown and reasons known as well, but they have provided great performances this season, especially offensively, something that we haven't really been expecting. So I do think that Vegas is a better team than Minnesota Wild is, and Wild does need to overperform quite a lot in order to challenge Vegas anymore. So it is also a game that we're gonna stay away. It's about 52% for Vegas and 48% for Minnesota, but it, like I said, a little bit too iffy game to bet anything on.
Yeah, let's see how these elimination games are going. When we take a look at the numbers, when you are leading 3-1, it's somewhere between 85 and 92 based on a historical probability to win the series. So not too much chances for the Minnesota or Florida at this moment.
Yeah, it's still 1 out of 10, so it might happen at some point this playoff run, but probably not in the first round with these teams.
Yeah, Colorado is waiting Vegas and in Central Division series will continue a bit longer because of the great performance by Nashville Predators.
Yeah, it will be a lot of good ice hockey still in the first round, so let's not get ahead of things.
We'll be back tomorrow with new picks and we'll see you then.
See you tomorrow.